Hi, welcome to the Nostalgic Dragon, where I talk about fantasy books and mythological books and sometimes science fiction. Today I will talk about Dune, written by Frank Herbert in the 1960s. It's said that this is a good start for us fantasy readers who are interested in science fiction. I was recommended to read this book by a friend, and he recommended this book a lot. This book is also an inspiration for Steven Erikson in his Malazan work, Malazan Book of the Fallen. And there are many fantasy-like concepts in here, like houses who compete for power, and you also have magic of different kinds in here. You also have religions. Religions here is obviously inspired by real life religions on Earth. He blends them sometimes, and sometimes he does not blend them. Yeah, and the structure of the book is interesting because if you read a lot of fantasy and I suppose science fiction, because I'm new to this, it's divided into different books. You have a glossary. You don't have a dramatis persona like in the Malazan Book of the Fallen, but in a way you have it too, actually, in the glossary. You also have an appendix where you can read more about different groups, concepts, or geography, you could say, of this world of Dune. And if we look on what this book is about, it's about an emperor who gives the Duke Leto, he's of the House Atreides, stewardship to a planet called Arrakis. And Arrakis is a very valuable planet because you can cultivate spice, and that is very important in this world if you want to have power in the world, power over politics and power over people. So there is a theme of power here, obviously. So this Duke Leto of Atreides gets the power over this planet, previously held by another house. It's called Harkonnen, and this shift of power who rules the planet creates conflicts and tensions. And actually, I don't think this is a spoiler. It creates a conflict where Duke Leto early in the book dies. You can read it on the back of the book, so I don't think it's a spoiler. He dies, and because of that, his son Paul Atreides has now the opportunity to take over his role and also to develop as a leader. Paul is a young man, and we get to follow his life and his, you could say, career in this book. So there are themes of you could say hero's journey here as well. When he takes when his father dies, he has to flee into the desert with his mother, the Lady Jessica. She's an interesting person in this book, and they flee into the desert. They will meet they will meet a you could say tribal group called the Fremen, but they are natives on this planet because people come to this planet of Arrakis to cultivate this spice and to earn money and earn power. And the Fremen, then, as native population, has been during the history of mankind used in different ways. Already in the beginning of the book, when the Atreides and Duke Leto, Paul's father, gets the information that it will get the stewardship over this planet, he's already has the idea that he will try to ally himself with this Fremen who lives on this planet and who knows how things work. So that means Paul will become allied with the Fremen, and we get to follow this journey especially within himself. I think it's a very introvert book. You get to follow not only Paul but other characters as well, their inner journey, personal development, spiritual journey, and a lot of philosophical questions that they have to themselves and to us readers. from here, from when Paul meets the Fremen. The story is very action-packed. It's now a movie. I'm sure you know about that. And I've read that it was difficult to make a movie of this book. And actually, I'm a bit surprised because I think this book is very cinematic in many ways. So that's a very short summary of the book. It's a very simple summary. So there are much better summaries out there if you want to know more. But we will follow Paul Atreides and his journey for revenge, of course, because his father was killed and a lot of other things is going on in this book. There are a lot of themes, and I would like to talk shortly about the themes. And one theme is ecology. I think this is a kind of ecological science fiction, because on Arrakis, the planet, water is scarce, so everyone has to adjust to that. They have special suits that preserve water and moisture. They have different kind of greetings, the Fremen, I speak of them. So everyone has to adjust to this water issue. I think that's interesting because on Earth today, water is in shorter supply, at least, especially in some parts of the world. So that's a theme that is important and that makes an impact on, at least on me as a reader. This is also set in a desert landscape, Dune, and it also affects how you experience this world, and I think it's very immersive. The desert aspect, it's how the environment is described. It's all from the moon and the light and how things smell, and the wind and the sand that blows and the wind. I think all those things are you could say very atmospheric, so he uses the environment well. There are religious themes in here, and especially some would say Islam. I'm not well versed in Islam in any way, but I know, of course, a bit about it. There are a lot of Muslim concepts in here, and I would say Arabic words are used as well, and but there are also influences from other religions. Christianity, to have a kind of Messiah-like figure is nothing special for Christianity, but it's very obvious that Paul here is regarded as a kind of Messiah figure in different ways, even if he's not so comfortable with that always. Influences also from Hinduism, especially when it comes to words and some of the groups. I think the Bene Gesserit is a group here, and they have words of Bindu Prana, and you can relate that to chakra as well. So interesting, of course. You also have influences of Buddhism. Some say Zen Buddhism. I've been practicing Zen Buddhism, so I didn't really feel that. Zen is a lot about emptiness, and there is nowhere to go, things like that. So maybe it's somewhere, but I think many of the people in this book has a lot of desire. So maybe I think it was the opposite of Zen Buddhism, and probably all other religions and faiths in here. The main character, Paul, is early detected or spotted by especially the freemen, the natives, as a kind of Messiah figure. And also the group Bene Gesserit, they look for a kind of not Messiah figure, but a special genetic bred a person has been breeding, right, genetically to something very perfect. And also they who are connected to this maybe cult, you could say, have ideas that Paul might be the one, but they are not sure. So he has to deal with this. The character Paul has to deal with this expectations of him being a messiah-like figure. Also, there are themes of political power, colonialism, obviously, because the other powers who come to populate or colonize this planet, they want the spies. They are not interested in the Fremen. They have the idea that this Fremen group are primitive in different ways. A bit Avatar-esque, maybe you could say, as well. So there is something there. It's about control as well. I think it's about what does control mean when it comes to political power and power over other people. What is control? It's of course a hero's tale, as I said earlier, when we follow Paul Atreides as well, but I don't think this is a hero tale where you say, oh yeah, it doesn't go from A to B. I think this book questions authority a lot, and it comes to religion, it comes to political power, it comes to resources, for example. How do we view resources? And also when it comes to religion, what is religion? Is it a tool for, to control the masses, or is it something deeply useful for people? It can be both, of course. So that's my take on Dune. Do I recommend the book? Yes, I do. I think for me, it's a reread. It has a reread value, is Dune, and I will probably do that later when I have time. So if you haven't read Dune, I think you should do that. And I've done it like that I read the book first, then I will watch the movie with my family now during the summer. So if you haven't watched the movie, that's the way to do it. If you have watched the movie, I think it's really rewarding to read the book, because there are a lot of things in the movie, obviously, that is covered in the book, but not in the movie. So why not try that out? Either movie first and then book, or book first and movie. So I can imagine you have read Dune. So what are your thoughts on this kind of review? And if you have thoughts, please tell me in the comments below, and please share, subscribe, and like if you like the content here. So thank you very much. See you later.